Don Copeland here today, and we're going to do some more fun, have some fun with the printer. We were with our DTG G4, and we got some questions about doing stuff. You know, we've shown you some different items before. We're going to talk about different placement this week. So this is actually a DTG print right on this sleeve, and I'm kind of using what I've learned over the last few years with our UV market of being smarter than the item I'm printed on. You know, and when you're dealing with made items like you do with the UV printer, you got to come up with creative ways to hold them in place and whatnot. And it's not that different when you're dealing with something strange like a sleeve on a. It's kind of hard to get it to lay on a platen and get it straight. So I decided to outsmart it. Let me show you what we did real quick. This is what we did. All right, what is this, you ask? This is this. It's like a press board. All right, that we measured the sleeve. I laid the sleeve out and measured it. It was basically about 10 inches across, down about 5 inches across for 19 inches. And I actually made this, cut it out of this board. I think if I was going to do these on a regular basis, I would go to something that be less prone to deteriorate with getting moist and heated multiple times. But for the sake of this, it works. And we stuck it inside of the sleeve. As you see, I've got the sleeve split about right. So I'm printing opposite of the seam down outside of here. Okay. And one of the things I did, because, you know, we've got this handy-dandy platen that sucks down on the shirts to hold them down. Well, since we're splitting it like that, we want to make sure we get a good grip on this part. So if Hannah, you want to come in closer, what I've done is taken a material that we use quite frequently when we're doing samples and whatnot in the UV marketplace. This is clear removable vinyl. I don't know if you can see it or not here, but what I did is I took my board, I laid it out on here, right, with this across it, and I just took a straight edge, cut the edges out. So now it's centered up on this. So my center of my sleeve is going down the center of my platen. Because I blocked all these holes, all of the concentration of the vacuum is in this area. So it's going to hold this in place. I tried real hard, guys, to get both sleeves on here, but 10 plus 10, which is what's at the top of here, is a little bit more than the width of the platen. So it didn't work. So we're going to do them one at a time. So we'll show you the steps that we went through to print this, and we'll go with it. All right. So first thing I did is like I said, put the shirt in here. Then to do the pre-treatment, you know, we had a old t-shirt laying around. So I laid the t-shirt on here so it'll just absorb the extra pre-treat as we deal with it. And I don't want the rest of the shirt getting covered. So I lay this literally into here. Kind of challenging. You got to make sure that you get, there you go, so that you don't have that part sticking up, getting too much on it. Slide that forward. Not as, I guess I'm getting really carried away. It doesn't matter. I'm going to spray over the whole thing anyway. But then close it, leaving the rest of the shirt sticking out because it doesn't need to get the pre-treat on it. I'm going to hit the button. All right. It's pre-treated. And just like we would for anything else we print it on, lay it on the heat press. "45 seconds. Pretty sure I already still have my file that I printed in here into the computer, just like you would. Because of the way I set this up, I've set this up, this artwork was set up as a column, and but we based it off of the trapezoidal shape that we have here, and set the artwork up in that, set up to line up down the center of the platen, and we actually positioned it in the artwork so it's the right distance down from the shoulder. So we don't have to worry about any of that. We bring it into the rip, dropped it in, rip and print, send it over to the machine, it's ready to go. There we go. As you can see, we've pressed this. It's nice and flat, nice and pre-treated. I'm going to bring this here, and as you'll see, I'm lining this up best as I can with my cutout of the vinyl there. That gives me a nice edge. I cut this the size of the platen so that as long as I load my secondary platen, which is my fancy board, the right way, is if I align this to the front, I know I'm in a consistent position on the platen. Just tuck this in underneath here. We got plenty of room. All right. I'm going to go ahead and load this up. Go to my recent jobs. Aha, Florida.psd. Select that job. There it is. Ready to go. There's our white layer now. You can see it. Probably going to just as you start to see, it's probably going to jerk it back there. There's a nice white layer. You notice the areas that are not showing solid white there because the software knows where there's a lot of white, where there's a lot of black. It's actually using the black of the shirt for the black there, so you're not using more ink. Alrighty, there we go. It's all printed. And throw it over here. Still, you notice I'm still in my handy dandy custom platen. Grab the right piece of material here. There we go. A little bit of parchment. Throw this down on it. There you go. 45 seconds will be done. So there you have it. Sleeve print done on the DTG G4. Thinking outside the box. We added like 22 cents worth of ink here. So, you know, to do both sleeves, it added another 44 cents worth of ink. Not unrealistic to charge a few dollars for each sleeve, for each extra placement on a moderate size run for these. Just recap the things we did. Number one, we narrowed down the area where we're drawing through the custom vacuum platen. We lined the shirt up on our custom made board. Like I said, this is just like a press board type of material. You could get something, you know, what I would probably do is if I was doing a lot of these, I would probably round the corners so you're less prone to poke a hole in a shirt. But something that would be water resistant as well, because you are going to throw some steam into this when you're pressing it. All right. But anyway, what we do is lay the shirt on the pretreatment machine. So any extra overspray just goes onto the shirt. You're not having to clean up as much inside of the pretreatment machine. Every 10 or 15 shirts or sleeves, you may want to pull that off and throw it on a heat press just to dry it off, put it back in. And that's it. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, great way to do different placements in just the front or the back or the chest of your typical shirt printed with your DTG printer. I'm Don Copeland with the DTG G4, printing some sleeves today.